Hey there, y'all. I'm Bobby.
I'm Stephy Steph.
I almost forgot who I was there for a sec. This is Between Two Teeth. She just told me I had bad hair.
If you ever want to know how to get him off his game, tell him his hair is terrible.
Hair. I'm struggling with hair. Listen, talk about...
Is it falling out? Or?
No.
Are you sure?
It's
is it
not
going
falling
gray?
out. No, it's not going gray. It's not falling out. I just haven't got a haircut. Having real conversations.
Yes, this fallacy of authenticity. I'm someone who's a very authentic person. I don't get to choose my authentic moments. If you know me, they are right on my face.
You do not have a poker face.
And unfortunately for me, I walk around and when someone says something, all you got to do is look at my face and you know exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah. And it's tough. So part of what we were just talking about is having the tough conversations and the authentic conversations with a confidant or a mentor or someone that you really trust. And when you're having these conversations with these different people, how do you have the conversations where you have to express ideas that might alienate you?
I got a simple answer for you. And it's from Brene Brown. It's be clear and be kind.
By the way, I feel like I sound like a dictator who's ready to go to war with the country.
If I can be honest with you, you have a lot of anger inside of you.
Yes, I do. And if you knew how
and unfortunately, look at your face. It comes through in your face. You're just like, Urgh.
Yeah, but
and I hate seeing that anger and pain.
Right. No, I totally get it. But if you understood how I grew up, if you understood how hard I worked,
then you got to work through the childhood stuff.
So it's not...
Some people call it wounds, but I'm just going to call it stuff. Childhood stuff.
Right. And
we all have that.
Yes, but the conflict you don't get. And the thing is that you're somebody who looks down to a lot of people, not literally, or not metaphorically, but literally.
Physically. I'm tall. I'm not a...
You're a tall person. Right. You have never had to look up at someone with the exception of a few people. Greg Ostertag, shout out. You're my hero.
7'2" NBA player on my
awesome,
team.
Dude.
Yes.
He's like a baller.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point is that it's almost like it's... Imagine being 5'3" from the time you're 5'3", which is the highest you'll ever be. You are looking up to everybody. You are looking up to 20-year-olds who are 10 years younger than you.
You're not going to get taller and talk into the microphone directly.
No, that's what I'm saying. So part of...
You're too tall. You're literally too tall right now. You're talking above the microphone.
And no one listens to you. And people cut you off and they make jokes about what you're doing, and they don't listen to your words that you're saying because you're not a physical threat. And that gets frustrating. And it doesn't get frustrating the first 4 years that you recognize it's happening. It doesn't get frustrating the first 10 years you recognize it's happening. But after about 15, you start to get a little ticked.
So you're not going to get taller.
And you really get ticked when people keep telling you it's going to get better. And you know... And these people that are telling you this enjoy a different set of cards, if you will, in life.
I'm going to pause you there. Look, everyone has different sets of experiences. Good experiences, bad experiences.
This isn't about an experience unless you want to say the experience of being 5'3".
So that is literally an experience.
An experience is something that has a start and an end point. I will always be 5'3", unless I'm in heels, and then I get to have the 5'7" experience. Okay. Average height, great.
So there's people through trauma have lost their legs, and they've had it happen at a young age. That's a difficult experience that provides unique challenges. There's people that are abused.
Are you saying that 5'3" women have the same struggle that someone who lost their legs as a child?
No, I'm just saying everyone has their unique challenges.
Are you saying that being a 5'3" female is equivalent to being disabled?
No,
because what are you saying? I'm trying to pick apart your analogy.
What
here.
I'm saying is you're short. Get over it.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm a human being.
Yes, you are.
But I'm a human being who is
Everybody has
tasked with
challenges.
looking up at so many people in life.
Okay, you know what? Half the world, at least, has to look at the other half of the world up. That's how the bell curve works.
And I can never instill these sets of experiences, if you will, on you. So it's hard for you to understand
Stay mad the rest of
anger.
your life. Stay mad the rest of your life
No,
over your
I'm not
height.
saying that. I'm not saying that being an angry person and identifying as an angry person is a good thing at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
I'm just trying to help you understand where the anger comes from. But I don't identify as an angry person. I'm actually quite jovial.
Would you say bubbly?
I'm bubbly unless I'm talking about something that I'm really passionate
Which
about.
gets back to
When you talk about things
authenticity.
when you talk about things you're passionate about, you have the same thing. When someone's passionate, I don't describe passion as this bubbly, jovial, happy-go-lucky, take it or leave it. Someone who's passionate about something, and I'm not saying being passionate is the answer. I feel like it's so stereotypical to talk about passion as a 30-year-old. I'm just saying that whenever you're talking about passion, it is intense. That's the definition of passion. It's this intense emotion that it just drives you. It's not about being bubbly and fun and happy-go-lucky, and we're going to talk about the color blue today, you know?
So if you want to influence people, if you want to lead people.
But this isn't about influencing or leading people. It's definitely not about what I want. What this podcast is meant to be about is when you have a certain way you view the world because of how you were raised or how you grew up, and you need to talk about it with somebody, a confidant, a friend, not necessarily a therapist. You can talk about it with a therapist. I think therapists are wonderful for a variety of things. What I'm talking about is when you wear certain emotions on your face, when you respond in situations because you have this compass, how do you work through it with people? Because the people you interact with, yeah, you can, like, how do you have these conversations that tend to be alienating and work through it?
So I think if you have a genuine friend, I didn't mean to say general, a genuine friend, they can hear those types of conversations and they see you,
right? But
the authentic you.
Right. So I guess this episode is really about having the difficult conversations that are truly authentic, that really get to the deepest layers and allow the most growth. And people don't have these, by the way. I know why they don't have them. I don't have a choice. I show it on my face, so I can either tell someone and explain it to them, or they can read it and interpret it.
Or you look like an ass if you don't tell them.
And that's just exactly what I said.
Right. I just said it in a different way.
You did. Thank you for that. So what I'm saying is you don't show it on your face.
Yeah.
So when you have someone talking to you about authenticity, and you have someone who is an authentic fire hydrant, if you will, that just can't not show, it's tough to have someone that is as nuanced as you and facade. You have so many different facades there.
So I wouldn't say that. I'm going to push back on you there.
Well, it's just tough for someone that has so many facades to tell someone so authentic to be bubbly.
It's not facades.
About a deep topic.
It's pivot. It's compartmentalizing things. I can be quite bothered and quite angry about one thing, and then I can pivot and do something different and not have that prior experience impact.
Do you want me to put a white ribbon in the mail? Congratulations.
Yes, I would.
If you were a department store, how many departments would you have? Or compartments?
So I would have an awful lot.
If you were a container ship, would you have a lot of compartments?
I'd have 70 containers, and you put it in a container.
And that's great, dude. If that works for you, and you don't carry things.
I don't.
And it doesn't weigh on you, that's amazing. If you ever have known a female, females don't work like that. They don't experience sadness or frustration and just say, I'm going to put it in this little small package and I'm going to move on after about 60 seconds.
That'd be perfect.
that doesn't, I mean, maybe there are women out there that do that continually and they're really good at it. And shout out to those women.
Maybe they
'cause
should put a comment in the comment
yeah,
section.
put a comment in the comment section because you're probably very successful. However, I would say in my own experience, I work more like, imagine we're kind of skipping towards the edge of a cliff, metaphorically speaking, and you know, we say rude things to each other or we have these differing opinions. I go emotionally over the side of this cliff, this crevasse, if you will.
Oh, I love that word.
And you are, and even though you go in the crevasse a little bit, you jump right back out. You're Superman. You turn on, you have wings that sprout from your shoulders and you fly right back out, and you are emotionally unaffected because you have compartmentalized that difference of opinion, that difference of emotion. But for someone like me, I'm at the bottom of this emotional pit for days sometimes thinking about this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's tough and it's tricky, so I can't go through life inauthentically, because if I do, I will stay at the bottom of that crevasse versus working through things and emotionally having a deeper emotional intelligence than you can possibly imagine, not because I want to, but because I have to move on from things.
Even look at your face now. Just has such stress. You can say things that are like serious, but smile.
What is funny about falling into an emotional pit?
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say crevasse.
You know, what's
again.
funny? What's funny is flying out of it, like after 60 seconds. That's a joy.
Yeah.
I wish I knew what that was like.
So what I hear you say is that you think you're happy.
And you know it.
You're okay.
Clap your hands.
With not compartmentalizing.
No, I wish I could.
When I first
think that's
met
the
you,
easier answer.
You actually had a quote. It was like you enjoyed sadness.
I've leaned into sadness in the past, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Maybe that's my problem. I
don't think you have to. So why would you? If I had this superpower of compartmentalizing emotion, I would wield that constantly. Someone says something to me, I'm like, wow, that did not align with my energy today. Or that doesn't quite align with how I see the world. If I could compartmentalize that and move on, I would, because that's easy. That's much easier strategy than having someone who has no poker face and who was raised in a family that doesn't value emotional IQ. And so you have to learn this. You have to figure out, okay, I've got all these emotions. They are radiating from me. Imagine that guy from, what is it? Not the genetics. I don't know. It's like the X-Men, the guy that shoots red fire from his eyes. Imagine that's just emotion coming out through your eyes. Like you
I
can't.
think I've seen that.
Yeah, you can't help it. Like it's on your face. I could smile, but it's not authentic. It's not who I am. And I'm just trying to process the emotion. And you want me to hide it? I don't even know what I'm feeling until I'm feeling it. And then, oops, it's on my face.
Well, and I think a comment could be made that we've, as a society, at least in America, and I assume you're lumping Canada into that.
It's America's hat. It's part of the outfit.
Yes. That we lack authenticity.
No, not at all. I think Americans are passionate people. We're emotional people. We are entitled people. There's a lot of emotion in America. I think, though, that...
But it's not... so social media is usually not authentic.
No, that's not authentic, but it's not in-person interactions either. Our in-person interactions are terrible because we don't know how to have one-on-one interactions with people.
People are really tough behind the keys of a keyboard.
Yeah, it's not... I don't think... I wouldn't... Yes, that's inauthentic. I would agree with you on that part. I think they're salesmen.
Right.
I think there's charismatic individuals who are put in leadership positions that may not be the best leader for the job.
Right.
And I think sometimes you have charismatic individuals that are exactly the best leader for the job. I guess what I'm saying is it's tough when you have to become, I think for my experience, and maybe this does apply to other females, that as you try to step into leadership roles, emotional intelligence rings true for any leader. But I think for females to get there, they have to go to a level of deeper understanding within themselves. They got to know what sets them off. They got to know what makes themselves tick. And they've got to know their past childhood wounds just to or at least for me, just to have this semblance of a facade so no one can see what you're thinking.
So I'm going to push back on you there. During my MBA time, I was actually quite surprised how much time was dedicated to emotional intelligence and the books and the articles. And it's not a female issue. It's a male and a female issue. And I think each individual deals with it differently. If you cannot approach emotion in a healthy way as a leader, you're going to have problems. Whether you're not emotional at all or if you're too emotional, it's going to be a challenge.
I agree. One thing that I read recently is it's talking about self-determination theory. I'm sure plenty of people have heard of this. It's got 3 pillars in general. And the first pillar is mastery of a subject or a topic or a sport. Second pillar has to do with community and having a feel like you are part of a community. And then the third one is autonomy. When I look at how I was raised and how relationships work, how do women even get a chance to have self-determination, autonomy, this feeling of connection with others who are similar to them, and just get a chance to master anything? When do they get that? Is that when they're raising children? Is that when, I don't know, when they're not leading their family because their husband's supposed to be the one that leads the family? When does that happen? When does self-determination happen for women? When do they get a chance to be their own boss of their own life? Question to you.
I don't know the questions, let alone the answer. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think either. That's for every individual. My point is everyone has a set of experiences. They have terrific experiences. They have difficult experiences. They've had successes. They've had failures. And that's what makes you who you are today. Unpacking a lot of those issues, especially childhood issues, is probably somewhat of a predictor on how you're going to be moving forward in the universe. And I think the best thing we can do is be appreciative of, here's what got me here. Think about it and say, where do I want to go? Where is the universe trying to take me on this adventure? Surround yourself with people who you want to be on that adventure with, and put one foot in front of the other day after day and move forward.
All right, but before we get out, give me something authentic. Those are all things that we have talked about, and it's good pieces of advice, but it's not authentic.
It is difficult for me to try not to control the present and the future. And I try to say I'm going to go on a path where the universe is going to lead me. I try not to be against a lot of things. It is hard, we talk about age and experiences and blah, blah, blah. I've had a lot of experiences, and I've seen a lot of things work, and I've seen a lot of things not work. And it is super easy to be a prisoner to your sets of experiences. And I don't want that for me. What's something authentic about you?
I've been spewing authenticity this entire podcast, but I appreciate your truth there. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, listen, we love that you're watching.
We love you guys. Y'all are awesome,
that
man.
That was kind of a serious one with some serious discussions.
We'll put it in a certain folder.
Exactly. If you like what we're talking about, please hit the subscribe button.